Currently, I'm sitting in the sun, parked on the side of the road, beside some people's houses, basking in the beauty of truck life, van life, whatever you want to call it. But it wasn't always this easy. I used to get really freaked out about where I was gonna stop and sleep at night. It became a longer process, but once I got into a rhythm and got it dialed, I love finding spots to sleep in new towns. Booyah. Today I'm gonna run you through my process, show you how I find safe and good spots to sleep, and some of the spots that I typically look for. So I'm gonna run you through it all so you can feel more confident on your next road trip, or if you're planning on starting van life. Booyah. You've just driven 10 hours and arrived in a new town. You're feeling antsy, you know, tensions are getting high in the car with your wife, with your kids. You're feeling hungry, things are feeling weird. It's 2 hours until dark and you've got to find a safe and a restful spot to sleep. When I first started living in my truck, it was super hard for Laura and I to find spots to sleep. How do you feel about sleeping in the car on the side of the road for the first time?
I'm excited, it'll be good.
After months and months and months and years of sleeping in different places, parking lots, residential areas, logging roads, we've got this thing dialed. We're super comfortable. We roll into a town and within, 10 minutes, we can find an amazing spot to sleep for the night. Oh, wow. The first thing that you're gonna wanna do is grab your handy dandy iPhone, Android, whatever you got, and go onto Mr. Google and search safest neighborhoods in XYZ city. So this is gonna give you an idea of where maybe the bad parts of the city are, the good parts of the city are. Laura and I have managed to sleep in some sketchy parts of cities, so we always kind of just take a quick browse. I mean, you can kind of look around and see if it's a nice part of town or a bad part of town. You just wanna make sure you're not sleeping, in a down and out part of town. There might be some more characters, some more shenanigans going on. So once you check that, the next step is to just look for a place or an area or a target zone that you want to sleep in. And I'll explain that later in the video, the kind of places that you should be looking for. If you're in the backcountry, the process is super simple. If you're on a logging road, make sure you're off the logging road so if traffic does come, it's not gonna bother you. A really useful tool that I like to use in the backcountry is a Backroads map book, or I also use the app All Trails, and I just can save different trails in areas so I know where I am when I'm back there. But backcountry camping, man, in your vehicle, it's amazing and super easy. There's tons of logging roads, tons of spots that you can camp in the backcountry. This book in BC is especially useful for finding rec sites, free rec sites, also a great spot to sleep. But we're not talking about backcountry camping in this video. We're talking about driving into town and finding good spots to sleep. So let's start at my favorite type of spot to sleep, and the place that Laura and I sleep 99.9% of the time, and that's in residential areas, baby, right in front of your house, right in front of grandma's house. We're sleeping out, you may not know it, so lock your doors, hide your wife, hide your kids. We're sleeping all over towns in Booyah. When you're driving around town looking for the perfect spot to lay your head, there's a couple safety considerations I want you to keep in mind. First one, you never want to be a sitting duck, so make sure there's other cars around, other cars parked. You don't want to be that one-off person sleeping there. It's going to draw attention to you. The second big thing is you want to make sure you're off the road. You don't want to be on the road or on like a turn where someone can turn, blindly hit you. That's no good. And the third thing is you don't really want to park on someone's property. So try and find a spot that's kind of on the road, near a residential area, off someone's property, because if you're on someone's property, obviously you could cause some sort of problem. So great spots to look for right off the hop are any sort of parks with residential areas, schools with residential areas, or residential areas that have, some sort of open land around them. So this right here is an ideal spot to sleep, especially for a residential area. It's super safe. There's lots of houses around. I'm parked right here, and the rear of my vehicle where I sleep is in the bushes, so I'll be bothering nobody. And if you have to take a pee in the middle of the night, you can do it. There's lots of people around, there's lots of cars parked, and you're not gonna be a sitting duck. There's lots of eyes on you. So once you get over the, the awkward feeling of, oh my God, these people might think I'm sleeping in my car, no one really cares, and you're gonna be much safer in the long run. I like to look for spots that are beside parks or playgrounds or pieces of empty property with houses, so I kind of have my own space. I'm not bothering anyone, but I'm still near houses and near other cars. Residential areas are definitely the first thing you're going to want to look for when you're in a new town after our next stop. So here's another great residential option and somewhere where I'd love to sleep. Why? Couple reasons. Number one, Another van person right there. That looks great to me. There's loads of cars out here, and there's lots of houses. So we got houses behind me, but I'm not actually on anyone's property, right? So you can see there's a bunch of houses here. I got some bushes here, so I'm really not bothering anybody. It could just be a friend visiting a friend in town, whatever. Residential is going to have your back covered 99.9% of the time. For that other 1% of the time when residential is not going to work out, the place you want to recreate, no problem. There's lots of other places in a town that are great, safe spots to sleep. So let's pop over to them. Visitor centers. So visitor centers exist all over the province to give information to excited adventurers like yourself. They're usually not this bougie or this pretty. There's usually a parking lot, and usually there isn't a time limit. No one from the city is gonna stop you for crashing in the visitor center, especially if you're a visitor who just needs to sleep for a night, and you'll have a great washroom at about 9 in the morning. Park at a trailhead. If you're planning on doing a hike the next day, and especially if you know that a lot of people overnight hike or are sleeping over in the mountains, there'll be lots of cars in the parking lot at the trailhead, and there really isn't a park ranger usually checking all of these cars. Typically, don't take my word for it. We hike a lot, so we'll crash in the trailhead so we can get up early and smash out the hike the next day. Alrighty guys, now we're arriving in the mecca of spots to sleep. The often talked about, but the awfully annoying Walmart Supercenter. Walmart's a fantastic place to sleep if you have no other choice. And in every town in BC I have ever been, I've never been alone sleeping at a Walmart. Let's take a little tour of the Walmart parking lot. I'm not sleeping here right now, so I'm not gonna pull over for long to talk, but let's take a tour. Great things about Walmart, you're allowed to sleep in their parking lots every single night. Walmart stack up with lots of people, so let's go see kind of some of the people we got hanging out today. Sleeping in Walmart parking lots, although it sounds so glorious, it's the loudest place, there's the most people there, there's the weirdest shit going on, so I tend to shy away from Walmart parking lots, but they're a great last resort. There we go, look, we got a little RV here, a little RV there, we got some vans here, RV, lots of RVs going on, people hanging out. And this is just, you know, this is early in the day, RVs, lots of RVs. You betcha. Walmarts are the tried and true, you always know they're gonna be there, somewhere you can sleep on the road no matter what. They're my least favorite because they're busy, crazy things happen. I've seen someone come out of their car in the night with like a huge machete, some lady. It was super weird. I'm sure she just had it in there for self-defense, but I was like, what the heck? Also super loud. You're gonna get like kids doing burnouts in the middle of the night, stuff like that. So there's always shenanigans going on in Walmart parking lots. But if you got no other option and none of the other options that I'm recommending work, go for it. Bye-bye, beautiful Walmart. Until the next time I get to sleep in your glorious and so beautiful parking lot, because it's just so lovely. Those girls probably thought I was crazy. The Home Depot, another great spot to sleep that's often overlooked in cities, especially our casino parking lots, although casinos aren't known for too many positive things, I guess, for some people, at least for me. I'm horrible at gambling, nor do I gamble that much. Casinos are a great spot to crash because it's 24-hour parking. They want you in their parking lot. They want you to go in and gamble. There's a washroom in there 24 hours. Yeah, maybe you'll have to play one round of slots for $2. You might even get free water, and depending where you are, free beverages. We're talking about a free nightcap before you go to bed. So hanging out in a casino parking lot has its advantages. Definitely a safe spot to park and sleep for 24 hours. Keep this option in your playbook when you're traveling. It will pay off at some point, and it might pay out if you're lucky. Rest stops. Rest stops, although very loud on the side of the highway, and can be quite horrible, honestly, to sleep at. They're a great option. Some rest spots are quieter than others, but they're a great option if you're in a pickle, especially if you just need to pull off the highway and find a spot to sleep quick for the night. So highway pull-offs are helpful. If I am gonna sleep at a rest stop, I prefer to sleep at one that's like off the road further. Big issue to remember, big semi trucks will run their engines all night. So it's always a very loud sleep, but rest stops and the side of the highway are literally always an option. No one's gonna tell you no if you are tired and need to sleep on the side of the highway. It's not safe to drive if you're tired. So sleep on the side of the highway. It's totally fine, although you're not gonna get that much rest. It's a spot to lay your head down. It's gonna do the trick. I just cracked a cold beer. And I'm having some chips. But a recent favorite of mine and a great spot to sleep is hotel parking lots, believe it or not. Hotel parking lots are always loaded with random cars and visitors, so they don't really think too much if you show up for a night to sleep. You just gotta be super rogue when you're getting in. The Sandman, fabulous hotel. It's got a water slide too. Maybe if I'm sneaky, I can sneak right in and ride the water slide. Hotels, although unorthodox, are one I've been recently doing more often, especially in places that don't have solid residential areas. I'd rather sleep in a hotel parking lot than a Walmart parking lot. Way less shenanigans going on, and there is security. Worst case, you get kicked out of the parking lot. Best case, no one's ever gonna bother you because there is security watching the parking lot. So hotel parking lots are awesome. I'm gonna have a couple more sips of this beer, and then I'm gonna go try and weasel my way in to take one ride down that water slide. The hotel security is just walking by. Once again, proof that hotels are a safe place to sleep. They're sniffing around, wondering why some shirtless guy is talking to a camera, eating chips, and drinking a kokanee outside the hotel near the pool area. I guess I'd wonder why some guy was doing that as well. I probably should just get in my car and boogie on out of here before... Yeah, it's all weird. Okay. My biggest piece of advice is to not worry about what other people think. Just sleep where you think is safe. The more eyes on you at the end of the day, the better. It's not illegal to sleep in your car. Some people just will stare at you because you're sleeping in your car or making food in your car. It's better to be safe, have some eyes on you, than have something happen, in a dark alley. Please make sure when you're traveling, when you're moving about and you go to the bathroom, make sure you go to the bathroom in bathrooms, not like on the side of the road. I've literally driven over human poo. Some people just have no regard. So make sure you're using the bathroom properly. You're disposing of your waste properly. It's all gonna be fun. Living on the road is fun. It's gonna be a great time, and hopefully these tips help you do it better. Can't wait until the snow falls. See you in the next one. Cheers.